There cannot be hunger in a civilized world. We should ensure no one shall remain hungry in this world. No one in a 10-mile radius of a Krishna temple. We should ensure that nobody goes hungry, especially children. So we have combined the aspect of feeding in a school to support education. So we have always been called upon by the government, and we very quickly go and set up kitchens and kitchen.
Viewers and listeners today. It is a real pleasure to have you with us on our show today.
Most welcome. It's an honor to be on this show.
Thank you, sir. So we would like to first begin asking about the whole motive and the whole motivation in the noble cause that Akshaya Patra Foundation has always stood by, that is feeding millions and millions of people and lives across the world. So could you just help us let through your motivation and the drive for the foundation to be doing such a noble task?
Yeah, as you know, Akshaya Patra began in ISKCON, Bangalore. ISKCON was founded by Srila Prabhupada, and his vision was there cannot be hunger in a civilized world. And if we say we are in a civilized society, and when there is so much of abundant production of food, and we have science and technology today, and we have a democracy, and still how can we have hunger? So his vision was that we should ensure no one shall remain hungry in this world. So this was his vision, and so we want to pursue that vision. And particularly, he told that no one in a 10-mile radius of a Krishna temple, we should ensure that nobody goes hungry, especially children. And so that has been the great motivation for us. We want to feed children, but we gave another additional aspect to it. We are feeding in schools so that children come to school and their classroom hunger is addressed, because the government is spending a lot of money on school buildings, teachers, salaries, uniform, textbooks. But if a child is hungry in a classroom, the child will not have a learning experience. So if we can provide meals in a school, and if the child's classroom hunger is addressed, so that the education becomes more productive, and all the crores of rupees the government is spending becomes more meaningful. So we have combined the aspect of feeding in a school to support education. This is the combined vision. And once a child is educated, the child can get out of the cycle of poverty and take the whole family out of the cycle of poverty.
So a complete way of getting someone out of poverty, eliminating it from his life via the medium of food. Such a beautiful cycle that you've created, and make us understand that in pandemic especially, we know we have all come to a very different experience of life. Everything has stopped for everyone to realize our responsibility towards environment, people, everyone. I think now your role has become most prominent and most important. 70 million and more children have been fed, if I can put that number through, only during the lockdown. So can you help us understand that how do you manage to prepare for that kind of a service, which in the situation which is completely a lockdown for everybody?
You know what happens? Uh, Generally, whenever there has been a natural disaster or an accident, we were called upon by the government
Okay.
last years also, because we have a huge kitchen capacity where we can prepare anything from 25,000 meals to 50,000 to 100,000 meals in a few hours' time. So
Wow.
we have that capacity. So we have always been called upon by the government, and we very quickly go and set up kitchens and kitchen operations. And now, when this pandemic broke down in the month of March,
March.
and
Yeah.
yeah, March, towards the end of March, in South India, the schools were already closed,
Yes,
and
indeed.
employees had actually returned. And we have 90% of the workforce are workmen and ESI category employees. And they all had gone away to their homes out of, like, say, in Bangalore, for instance, I'm speaking from. Our schools were closed, the kitchens were shut down, except for a few maintenance staff. The rest of them, they return and they go to their villages. And then the government asked us to feed. And it took a little while for us to get together. And by then, lockdown had progressively, we were just beginning to understand what is a lockdown, right? It was all not known to us, and government was telling us, our prime minister was telling us, don't come out of the house, stay at home. And so when we are trying to get people back to work, and they were all afraid, they would not come. So anyway, we started mobilizing gradually, and we were cooking food and we were distributing to people who were in need. And the government would tell us, the municipal corporation would tell us, or the district administration would tell us where we should go and distribute. And we were providing them. And then as days progressed, we were beginning to understand the nature of the pandemic and how it spreads and these kind of things. At that time, we came up with another idea of creating a grocery kit. If you go and feed a meal to somebody who is hungry, he or she will become hungry after another 8 hours again.
Yes.
So we thought that let's make a grocery kit. And if you remember, the first lockdown was for 21 days.
Yes.
And, so we made a grocery kit which had enough raw materials for 21 days, 2 adult meals a day, which is 42 meals. It was about 16 kilos of rice, dal, oil, spices, masala, varieties of things. And then we started making these grocery kits and we started distributing them in different parts of the country. So the advantage was you make one contact with a beneficiary and hand over the box. 42 meals you have addressed instead of one contact, one meal. You see? So that was a better program, provided the person has the facility to cook at home and those kind of.
But did the in this point to help you carry out this exercise, because pandemic was implemented by government very strictly in the beginning,
Oh, very,
and
very much. Very much. The government was, we were actually working closely with the government. Both the state government and the central government were very, very supportive in across the country. We were doing in about 16 states, and everywhere there was cooperation from the state, because the state also, every government ultimately wants to help the people. In fact, the Karnataka government saw our grocery box and placed order for, I think initially 1 lakh, they made it 2 lakhs, and then another 2 lakhs. So and we were making boxes and supplying to the government because the government was picking up and they were having their distribution methods. And these grocery box, we would make it slightly different. In Odisha, we had made another kind. In Gujarat, we had another one. In Guwahati, in Tripura, Northeast, in Mumbai, we had another kind. So we would make it according to people's requirement. And that is how we were continuously, both the cooked meals were going on, the grocery kits were going on. Both put together, we served about 7.2 or 7.4 crore, 74 crore meals worth of cooked meals and grocery kit meals. So
But while this whole distribution channel was being created strategically to help, there might be many incidents that might have touched you. You might have felt that, okay, there was a moment you come across people, children, all of them in a complete fearful state. So could you share some anecdotes with us where you felt like?
Okay, I can share one anecdote which happened in Guwahati. And we were serving in and around Guwahati town and immediate
Yes.
good. There is a district called Kamrup and a few other
Yes.
Guwahati, and we were serving there. And then one day we got a call from the government's helpline. So the government helpline had received a call from a girl. She was a 15-year-old girl. And they were orphans. They had become orphans a month ago or a year ago or so, and due to some unfortunate incident in the family. And she was around 15 years old, and she had I think, two sisters who were also much smaller than her, and they were stranded in some household, and they, such small young girls, they were housemates in somebody's house, and they had returned, and then the pandemic broke out, lockdown, and then they could not go back. They were stranded in their homes away from their workplace, and so they had no food. And somehow that older girl, 15-year-old girl, called the government's helpline, and then the government helpline contacted us. And this is a very remote place, 45 kilometers from very difficult to reach. And they asked, I know it's not easy, and it was raining at that time. So, and in Assam, when it rains, it's not rains, it's cats and dogs raining.
True.
And it was heavy rains, and then how to reach. And then the government said, we understand it's difficult, we are just passing on. But our Akshaya Patra team, they were very, very determined, and they somehow carried in a truck and from then in a side bicycle and this and that, and finally reached 3 grocery boxes, and those girls were crying to receive the boxes. And like this, it has had impact all over in northern Tripura, hills and jungles and tribal families, and even in such places we have reached out. So in Dharavi, and we had a team, and we were working with a lot of other, we were partnering with, it's not, we also have to be concerned about our own staff safety,
the safety
and everyone's safety. After all, at the end of the day, it is safety that is of paramount importance. So like this, we had all of these kind of incidents, and we were working, and we are continuing to feed even now in different parts of the country.
One question I would like to have about the midday meal for children that you have been, it is part of the vision of education meal. What is because we don't know when the uncertainty would end, how are you looking forward to the future with that prospect? Schools are closed now. We really don't know when it's going to open. So how is that vertical going to work around in future? Are you going to look into providing some other arrangement, because we don't know how education would be looked at now?
Okay. We closely work with the government.
Yes.
And, so most of the state governments made a policy that dry ration should be reached to the schools. So in different parts of the country, the government provided us grains, And then in some places they provided us dal and pulses. And so we would make packets and deliver it to the school. That headmaster and the teachers were given the task of reaching it to the children. So children or the parents were asked to come to the school and take it from there.
Okay.
What we did was, the government was giving rice and pulses. And so we created one more box that had everything except the rice and the pulses.
Okay.
It had the oil, it had the masala, it had few other things. And we also added workbooks for children, because children were going to be at home. And so we created workbooks of various grades, grade 1 to grade 10. And then we would put the workbook also into the box. And so the government would give the rice and the pulses, and then we would give this box, and we called it the happiness box.
Wow.
And we told the parents, you take this box home and see that the child is fed for 1 month. And then the child should work on the workbook that is given. And if you bring the workbook at the end of 1 month and the workbook is fully completed, we'll give you one more box for another month.
Wow.
So we
Motivating.
wanted to touch a little bit of the education, and so that the child does some work at home, some schooling and some learning happens. And at the same time, the parents are able to provide.
So that's
So
the happy way of education that Akshaya Patra has created for children there. And they
Yes.
feel happy this time that they are working in a very happy space with food also being offered to them. My last question to you, sir, is about what are the learnings through this journey? Because your experience of serving people in natural calamity situation and pandemic being a very different kind of experience altogether. What are the learnings that you have taken from this experience and your service that has helped millions of people always across the country and beyond?
Okay. You know, one learning, one revelation, one area that we have seen practically is the goodness of people.
Okay.
And people have all come together, and they have come to wanting to help. And we have come across public representatives. We have worked with bureaucrats.
Okay.
We have worked with donors, corporates, and individuals. Everyone coming forward to help. I don't know if you heard about it. Mr. Narayan Murthy and Sudha Murthy, they gave their personal check, not from their foundation or anything, their personal check. They called us and said, wherever there is a need for feeding, don't ever say no to them. And I'm sending you a check for 10 crore rupees. So, like this, people gave according to their ability. And people have given small amounts, big amounts, medium-sized amounts. And like this, people have come forward to contribute. And then the police, and then we, as I told you, to some extent, we could have our employees because they were unreachable. And even if they want to come back, they were not able to come. So we had to mobilize volunteers.
Yes.
The police department gave volunteers. And college boys and girls, they came forward. And we were concerned, for them, because they are coming from home. And sometimes there is resistance at home. Don't go out. But they are saying, no, we want to serve children. We want to serve people. They are coming away. And, young college boys and girls came in big numbers, and they would work 10 hours, 12 hours a day. And we had these big wedding venues and such places, because we were packing huge quantity. Every day, truckloads of material will come, truckloads of boxes would go out. It was on that scale. And so many, many people and housewives from all sections of the society, people wanted to come forward and work together and be of some support. And so there was some kind of a human bonding and a human congeniality, that came up, that surged in everyone's heart, that we must help people. And another important thing is that, we will, by God's grace and with all the goodness of human beings and with all the efforts, we will cross over this. We should try to ensure no one in our neighborhood is left out in a very difficult situation, because there are families which are in a very vulnerable situation, and we cannot afford that they miss out on the important inputs that are needed to overcome this challenge that we are facing. So I think people coming together, working together, and we also, one, if people are reaching out to help others, I think we will successfully come out and put this behind in the next few months, probably.
I think Akshay Patra stood like a frontline warrior, along with all the help and support you got from people, and you've been so grateful to each one of them for giving you that support throughout. Your last message to people, as you've already said, that they should start supporting each other. But one message you would want to give from Akshay Patra to everybody, now that we have almost been in this journey together for 4 months.
Yes. Among the different sections of people that we have reached out to help, one section of people that really stands out, even there we have been involved in serving, and that is the Corona warriors, the doctors, the nurses, the drivers, ambulance drivers, and the paramedical staff. And I know doctors who were involved, and we were asked to serve there. And the doctors would get infected. They would get quarantined for 15 days. And again, they would go back to their services. And some of them were away from home, from the family. They were small children, mothers separated from children, because the mother is going every day. She's a doctor or a nurse. So many, many examples we came across, such people. And the police forces, and to implement the lockdown and to ensure law and order, ensure all of that. A lot of people have worked. Our public representatives, public leaders, they also have worked very hard. A lot of ministers, they're all tested positive now. Because they were in the field. Bureaucrats were in the field. I know bureaucrats who are working from 8 a.m. and they would tell us, Swamiji, we go home at 11 o'clock in the night. And again, we are 8 in the morning, we are back in the office. Wow. And continuously like that. Our country, our people, it's amazing how people have come together, and I think we should be very, very grateful to all these people, and who are continuing to work in this and trying to bring the curve down. Yes. And so I think this good spirit should continue, and all the efforts and all the sacrifices that people are making should continue. And by God's grace, we will be through with this.
I think we should be more grateful to you also for continuing the service and fighting all the uncertain situation and bringing and feeding everybody, and also inspiring many, many, many lives. Thank you so much for joining on India Podcast on Voices That Inspire Us. That makes it our privilege to bring real voices and real heroes who have helped people, millions of children and people across the country during the lockdown and the pandemic situation. Thank you so much. It is utmost pleasure to have you with us today.
It was a pleasure talking to you and sharing all of this, madam.
Thank you.